you want the truth, or do you want
what do you do?
I suggest to people?
The truth.
The truth.
We're only looking for the truth here, folks.
Welcome to another episode of Trap Talk. I'm your host, Zach Nannini, and I'm here with my co-host, Richard Marshall Jr. We are live in Tucson, Arizona. We just got done with the class singles and the class doubles, and we're interviewing female shooter, Shelby Skaggs. Welcome to the show, Shelby.
Thanks for having me.
Rick, would you mind introducing Shelby?
I guess. So I've known Shelby a long time. We're on Team Fiocchi together. So Shelby's a 6-time ATA Lady All-American. She's been on 8 Oklahoma State teams. She's in the Oklahoma Hall of Fame in 2019. Is that correct? Mm-hmm. Let's see. She's won 7 Lady ACUI Collegiate National Championships. Now is that trap, skeet doubles?
Little of everything.
Little of everything?
Yeah.
About everything. She was the 2020 Lady Clay Target champion. Mm-hmm. Lady 1 Clay Target champion,
Lady 1.
Correct? So, Shelby, when did you start shooting?
2014. Yeah, 2014. I was 15.
And then, so that's what got you. Did you start? How old were you then? 2014.
About to turn 15.
Okay, so then 3 years later, you went to college. Mm-hmm. Who'd you shoot for in college?
I went to Connors first.
Okay.
And then I came home because I didn't like it.
Because you wanted to see your mommy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We know her mom.
Missed home.
Yeah.
Missed home. I was only 3 hours away. I was going back home on the weekends.
And you still had to go home? You just had enough? You were done?
Yeah,
Okay.
I don't know. And then I went to NOC, finished there. It was just there in Enid. So
Okay.
I stayed home, helped mom teach and stuff. So I graded her papers, helped her out. And then I got a full ride to go to Ozarks in Clarksville, Arkansas. Went there until COVID hit, and my mom freaked out and made me come home.
Really, Mom?
I had 1 year left over there.
Couldn't go. You would have died for sure, huh? That's what she thought.
Well,
Like, oh, the COVID's going to get her. Yeah. We were shooting everywhere. Huh?
No. She's a teacher, so she was like, well, if you stay over there, you have to stay there. You can't come back because
on the
of
weekends.
the contagious. Yeah. So I decided to just go home. I can't stay away that long. I'm still only 2 hours away.
So a step prior to that, why did you get into shooting? What was the reason? I know you said you started when you were like 14 or 15, but what was the catalyst that got you into the sport? Was it a friend or just wanted to try it or what?
One of my dad's friends. I had never shot a gun before prior to that. Like rifles and stuff for like coyotes and like stuff like that, but not shotguns. Never had any interest in it. Never hunted. They needed another girl on the 4-H team, so I was like, sure, as long as I don't have to be good at it. Yeah. So I went to practice. I think I shot like 13, maybe 14. Went to state, shot in 18, and I was like, hey, I can beat boys at this. So then I got better and came back and won the state championship the following year.
Well, that's really good.
Nice.
That was a good little improvement from 13 to 18 to state champ. Bam.
I can beat some boys. Kind of like you did Zach today in this thing. Oh, no.
Yeah.
Why do we got to bring up this stuff? It's uncalled for, you know? So you developed a love for it very quickly, it sounds like. Did you start shooting all the games, or at the first was it just trap shooting?
It was just trap. And 25 at a time. I had never shot any more than 25.
You couldn't handle it, could you?
No. 4-H is only 25.
I know. A lot of the youth programs used to be that way. Now they've kind of been accommodated to, hey, let's shoot 50 or let's shoot 100. Because, I've dealt with some 4-H kids teaching, and they're like, we're going to shoot 100. They're like, in a row?
You mean 4 boxes in a day?
And that's, because they were used to shooting 1 or 2 boxes. So it does make a difference.
So what was the hardest thing for you starting out? Was it obviously like size being little, or was it holding the gun, or like what were the things that you were doing at that time that was difficult, if you remember, coming up from that 13 area to actually winning stuff?
I don't remember that far back.
Okay. Yeah,
She's old. That memory loss. It's
10 whole years ago. It's in the past.
No. It's we understand that, but so when you were in college, I mean, so you shot every discipline, and you won. Was it 7 national championships at one, or was that over a couple years?
Over 2 years.
Over 2 years.
Yeah, the third year, COVID happened.
Yeah.
So they canceled it, and then I had one more year, but I just
didn't go back.
No.
Mom wouldn't let you.
No,
Mom got out of the crowd of Proc. You ain't going nowhere, honey.
Mama Rhonda, don't let her go nowhere.
No.
No, Northwestern told me that they would allow me to go.
Yeah.
But I didn't want to go compete as an individual.
Oh. Yeah, it is. I'm a college coach, so it is. I see some kids down there at times that are competing as an individual, and I know some of their parents, and they're like, yeah, they wanted to come, and then after they're like, yeah, we're good.
It was hard because at the beginning of that whole COVID thing, a lot of people didn't know, how bad it was or what was going on. But for me, I was like, well, I don't have to do in-person meetings anymore at the office, so it sounds like I'm going to shoot a lot more. And, and I did. I remember going to Vernal. Rich Bullard's like, hey, this COVID thing, but we're going to Vernal, and I'm like, I'm in. And I hopped on a plane and came over.
That's when Rich had his pre-COVID
his
jacket on.
Pre-COVID shirt, yeah. Well, that's another story for another podcast. But so one thing I do want to know is you obviously competed at a high level in the collegiate sports.
Yep.
You obviously compete in a high level in the ATA. What's the difference in your mind? Was it harder in collegiate? Is it harder in the ATA? What are the differences in your mind?
I think it was harder as like a collegiate shooter just because you have to go from different disciplines, and like I shot bunker and ice skeet, and going from having your gun clear down here to having it on your shoulder, not lifting your head, going to regular skeet.
Yeah.
And then I always felt that when I was in college, going to an ATA shoot, my scores were lower. Once I quit shooting collegiate, my scores went up.
Came back because of shooting all the disciplines. And that does, I tell all my kids the same thing at the college. I'm like, listen, it's going to affect, if you're just shooting ATA, it will affect a little bit. Possibly. Some it does, some it doesn't. But yeah, and we don't even shoot the ice skeet or the bunker like we used to.
Yeah, they had it at ACUIs when I was there, but they were phasing it out because they're like, a lot of these kids, it became a safety hazard because they didn't really know how to mount the gun correctly and the right equipment and all the stuff.
A lot of the teams were using certain things to their advantage of when they said, oh, you just have to have your head off the gun. Well, that still meant keep the gun down here.
I was like,
but this is what some of the kids were doing. Pull. And and you could see in the scores. I had a kid on my team at the time, Jared Krause, who shot international skeet, through Team USA, and he still shot it down. And I'm like, Jared, they're allowing you to get the gun up as much as you can, but they finally phased it out, and now we shoot skeet doubles, trap doubles, sporting and super sporting, so it's a little different,
Yeah, it's definitely a different program than when I went there, but you were competing in what years collegiately?
All the way up to 2020.
18, 19, 20?
Yeah. So, and I can understand that being affecting your scores, and can be tougher doing that. It's like doing an all around. You're shooting all the disciplines, so over a short period of time, 4 days at nationals or 5 days, whatever it may be for each team, compared to shooting ATA like we're doing here at the Autumn Grand, where we're shooting 200 targets a day for, we've been here a week, yeah,
yes,
8 days, 9 days I've been here, 10 days.
Enjoying the sun and the tacos out here, that's for sure. So one thing I do want to know is, from shooting with you and getting to know you a little better, I've heard you practice a lot. What is your practice regimen when you were going out and you were really training for the Grand and big tournaments? What were you doing to prepare?
I don't prepare that much anymore just because I live further away from where I usually practice. We had a trap house out of our front yard. Dad built it, I think my senior year. And then, so now I just practice every so often right before a shoot. I don't practice on the clay target for lady,
Yeah.
I was practicing a month beforehand. I was also a CNA, so I would get off work at 7 a.m. and then go home, practice about 2-3 boxes, and then go to sleep, wake up, practice again, then go back to work.
So when you say 2 or 3 boxes, was it always singles, or did you shoot like a box of singles, a box of doubles, a box of handicap, or what was the range of what were you doing each day?
Usually it was handicap and singles in the morning, and then I would shoot doubles in the evening, just because where the sun was coming up, it was blinding.
So your range faces east then. So, Dad.
It's kind of northeast.
Is that the only way you can put it? You laid it out for him, didn't you, Shelby?
No.
Shelby said, "Yeah, this is what we're gonna do."
Over here.
Oh wait.
That's the only place you could put it.
I know. I'm just kidding.
It's the blonde moment. So always a singles, a handicap, and a double, and when you say you did that almost every day, like 5 days a week, 7 days a week, 7 days. So you shot
every day.
Every day.
Mm-hmm.
And so, knowing where you're at now and knowing where you were, do you think that was beneficial more doing that type of training regimen, or do you prefer what you're doing now where you're just preparing a week before the shoot?
I think it helped me a lot because of like the repetition and muscle memory and all of that. But I like what I'm doing now. It's less shooting.
What?
She's gotten older.
Yeah.
More,
more mature, knows what to do. I get it.
Yeah, sure.
So we're talking about your shooting with ATA, your collegiate shooting. Now you're a college coach too.
Mm-hmm.
So how's that turned out for you? I mean, do you like it? Is it like these little kids, I just want to strangle them?
A little bit of both.
Yeah.
I have one here that is shooting ATA now, and the first day he did beat me.
Uh-oh.
Yeah,
That's
he
called-
did beat
Did
me
he
in
say,
circles.
I'm going to be the new coach?
That is exactly
Did
what he
he
said,
really?
basically. Yep, and then the next day, well, first I told him it won't happen again. It hasn't yet. So.
That's funny. I had that. We were shooting practice. This is years ago when I've been the coach for like 8 years now, I think. And one of the first years, one of the kids, they're like, "Oh, come on, coach, shoot." And I was like, "I ain't going to shoot singles." I was like, "Fine." I walked out. I broke 25, and I just said, "Okay." Then we went over and shot around a ski. I broke 25, and I said, "I'm the coach. Just remember that." They go, "Okay."
Okay, coach.
Yeah.
So do you, so tell us about your program. How many kids you got? Where's it at? I know you moved away from home. Mama's probably mad, but.
It's only an hour and a half away from Nash, so she can come down anytime. And I still go back on the weekend.
Every week, yeah, see? So tell us about your program.
It's in El Reno, Oklahoma. It's only 15-ish minutes west out of OKC. So
Yeah.
It's fairly close to all the big eating establishments. Our home range is at the OTSA, where the Oklahoma State shoot is.
Yep.
It's a 2-year. It's a college.
Okay.
Redlands, right?
Redlands Community College. It's an ag school.
Okay.
They do have nursing. They do have like the health science and all of that.
Yeah.
We pay for targets, practice. They're competing shells, like competition shells, not competing shells.
Practice shells?
Practice shells they have to cover. Trying to get it changed.
Okay.
But everything else when they're traveling is all paid for through the school. We have 14 on the team this year. We started with 5 last year. There's 14
So you're
now.
busy.
Yes.
You need an assistant
Keeping
coach.
all of them in line.
You need an assistant coach, don't you?
Keeping them in line? Yes.
I was going to say, she needs to just keep her in line. See?
Rude.
That's a bam.
I get it every now and then.
Yeah,
Shelby. So, okay. So, one of the other questions is, you compete with your lovely sister Shay, who was my squad mate at the Grand for the whole Grand. I had to deal with her.
I got her 1
She
week.
wouldn't. Yeah, what's that?
I had 1 week with
Yeah,
you.
well, you were with me prelims, and she stayed the whole time.
Yeah.
So we're all on Team Fiocchi together. How's that been competing with your sister as far as a competitive, like, sister battle? Is that, I mean...
Some days she gets on my nerves.
Here we go. Some days.
Some days, not all the time, but some days.
Yeah.
There's some days that I just want her to walk back to Oklahoma. Like,
Hey!
That's a long way when you're in Tucson.
Yeah, exactly. Well, she's not here.
Yeah.
So.
Yes. But I like it. Just to have someone that's there that understands like how we practice and like what we go through and all stuff like that.
Yeah.
It's good to have a girl actually to talk to.
Well, yeah, that's one of the problems we have. I mean, I don't know if you've watched much of our show, but we've pretty much had all guys, Lauren Mueller, Elena McCarthy, and then now you. So there's not a ton of females in the sport.
There is.
It's growing. It's growing more and more and more.
We're going to interview more. I mean,
we're working on it.
Yeah.
But it's just not as readily available, I guess. But I would say it's definitely more than it was 20 or 30 years ago, right, Rick?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, we just got to, we always rely on Zach to get people, and he just, yeah.
I'm a failure. Sorry, guys. We're letting everybody down. I'm doing the best I can,
Yeah.
Ricky just shows up for the talent side. I do the rest.
Yeah. So, is it, Shay's won quite a bit of stuff. She shot well with me at the Grand first go. I think she was high on the squad in the first handicap.
She was.
We're like 97.
What
Justin goes, he looked at me and he goes, man, I hope this don't last all week. I said, all week? We got 14 days with her.
This is kind of a funny story because Rich Bullard was there. We were there.
Yeah.
And nobody knew that she was on the 25-yard
Yeah.
line. And so the mic was up at the 25, and Bullard goes and takes it back to the 27 because he's like, oh, these mics are up here. And then he sees her taking that thing, and he's like, whoa, what are you doing taking that all the way up there? You need your reading glasses to shoot them up there? And she's like, she gets gritted in. She's like, I'm not going to stay on this 25-yard line.
And she breaks 97.
Bam. It's like, bam, got to
Then
go.
the next handicap, she runs like 49 on the first 50. Bullard goes, I said, yeah, keep running your mouth. She's going to be beating us every day.
Yeah, so that was a good event for her. But
Oh, absolutely. So is it, how long Shay been shooting? About the same time?
About the same time. She began shooting at the same time, but she really didn't fall in love with it.
Like you do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It took a little bit more time.
Yes.
Yeah, and she's got a lot more going on too right now. I mean, you're
Well-
pretty much full time. This is your deal between coaching, shooting,
Mm-hmm.
everything you're doing in your life is revolving around shooting sports.
Yeah, and when we were traveling my senior year, like to every single shoot available because I wanted to make All-American. That was
Yeah.
like my first year to do it. Her first love was basketball. That's what she did. That's what
Basketball.
she chose. Basketball. Yeah.
Basketball.
I'm not doing that.
You see the size of Shay? Basketball. What's she playing? Small forward? She point guard? She thinks she's Steve Nash, doesn't she? She wants to be Steve Nash.
She was a little three-point shooter, and she could.
Did she?
She had some hops. Yeah.
Well, I know, but that's on the kiddie court. I mean, we got Shay, I love you. Sorry.
We're sorry. This is after hours podcast.
Yeah,
It gets rolling.
It gets rolling. We haven't even gotten the bourbon yet, so we're good.
If we're not shooting good, we get meaner.
Yeah, today was a rough day.
It was
a little windy,
a little rough on
a little
us.
brisk, but
So you said that you're not practicing as much anymore, but you're still shooting really, really good. So is that because you feel like you're pretty consistent in your methodology now? Are you writing goals? I mean, what are you doing to push to the next level at this stage in your game?
Well, I decided to go with Wenig stock, so that was another. Be quiet over there.
Shameless plug.
yeah,
We call those plugs on the
yeah, we
side.
call those plugs.
I mean-
yeah, you got Hannah. Yeah. Hello, Trap Talk listeners. Today's episode is brought to you by Wenig Custom Gun Stocks.
That being said, a custom gun stock is going to elevate your game because you get the same fit every single time.
And I can attest to that. I broke hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of hundreds with my Wenig Custom Gun Stock.
I haven't broke hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds, Rick, but I did break 100 from the 27 within 7 days of getting my stock and broke 2 more that year and loved it.
Here, this is...
Okay, do you take it or me?
We'd like to thank Wenig Custom Gun Stocks for supporting Trap Talk.
That being said, everyone knows.
Winners shoot Wenig.
Are we doing the end part?
So has that helped you? I mean...
Well, I've had a Wenig for 6 years, but
Yeah.
it was on my sporting clay gun.
Okay.
So
get it on the sporting clay gun that you don't shoot as much, and then
Yeah.
don't get it on the trap gun that
Hey,
you shoot all the
it
time.
had national championships. Thank you very much.
Okay.
So, I know at the Grand, you had it done on the last day. You were struggling a little bit because you were burying into the gun, and I came up because Tyler was following you guys.
Mm-hmm.
Came up to watch, and you were in distraught. I mean, she's crying. No, she wasn't crying. Close to it, though. You were like, I think that was anger.
The anger.
That was steam coming out of her eyes.
It's not like she's not competitive or
Yeah.
doesn't want to win.
And she's like, I said, mount your gun. She mounts it, and it's like, I can't even see her eye. And I was like,
oh, that's like,
So I was like, hey, anybody got anything? Band-Aid? I took a Band-Aid. I took box tops to put them on top and the Band-Aid over the top. And she mounted. She goes, oh, yeah, now I can see. Boom. She goes out and starts spanking targets. Someone goes, you just put a bandage with box top? I said, hey, man, I can improvise.
get it
Anything
right.
works.
They call me the MacGyver. You like that?
I don't think they call you
Yeah.
the MacGyver.
It worked that day, did it not?
It did.
Shelby, see, Zach?
He's trying to set trends. All right, we're calling him MacGyver from now.
No. But stuff like, so you've gotten it, of course, fixed since then. And so have your scores come up, been more consistent?
It doesn't look pretty right now because I did it and my dad did it.
Yeah, it's okay.
And well, we took your box tops and everything off, and
Yeah.
we put KT tape over it.
Yeah.
About 3 layers of it to bring it up.
Rise it up.
And it's softer. So.
But the Bondo stock still in work, and
Yes.
but smoking the targets now, little poof balls, right?
Little poof balls, yeah.
That's what you want, the little poof balls.
So is it, Zach touched on goals, and you never really answered goals. Do you have goals? What's your goals?
My current goal that I want to achieve is my Grand Slam.
Okay.
Locking the handicap. That's about all.
That's all. That's all the goal you have for the year. Nothing else, like make the All-American team.
Well, yeah.
Well, that's a goal.
Okay.
I mean,
Okay, so make the All-American team.
there we go. See, we'll get it out of her, folks. She's kind of shy sometimes.
You got to pull it out sometimes.
You do. Lord, please help me. Go ahead. You're fine.
The Lord. So I already said the Grand Slam.
Yeah.
All-American team. I'd like to captain, but I don't really want to go to all these shoots. I'll probably only go to 5 or 6, maybe.
Okay. Because you're busy, other other conflicts come in.
Yeah.
Trust me. I mean, I only go to 7, 8 usually, possibly.
Yeah.
You know, maybe 9, depending on what's going on. You know,
Just
it would
what
be
fits.
10 if it was Missouri, but like I said in the last podcast, Zach moved it.
Yeah.
So.
A lot of people are thanking me. But I mean, it is difficult when you go from, because I remember when you were really chasing it, and everywhere you looked, it was like Shelby Skaggs, Lady One Champ, Lady One Champ, Lady One Champ. You're winning a ton of trophies everywhere you went, and you were 100% focused and dedicated on traveling and shooting. And now you've got traveling and shooting in one bucket. You've got being a head coach in another bucket, along with life, right? So do you feel it's harder now to juggle multiple things than it was when you were just super focused on one thing?
Well, I mean, the whole thing was money. My parents were paying for it then. Now I'm on my own.
Yeah, that's nicer to have the parents pay for it. I like that.
I mean, if mom and dad aren't paying for you and they want to support Zach and I mean, I'm game. No.
I'm in.
Rhonda, we need some help.
Send the cash. Send cows and cash.
Yeah. We'll take a few efforts and be fine.
So going back to your practice, I know you said one box singles, handicap, doubles. What style are you shooting? Are you similar to me and Ricky where you're low on the house and you're driving up through a target? Or are you a high gun hold point shooter? Or what are the types of styles that you're using between singles and doubles and handicap?
I hold on the house and drive up to the target in any of them. Doubles, singles,
So just like I do.
So same. Now, that being said, what are you focusing on? Are you really trying to hold still before the target comes out? Are you moving on the call a little bit? Are you looking above the gun or through the gun, or what are the things that you're doing that you've seen give you the most success when you feel like you're shooting good?
Singles and handicap, I stay still. Doubles, I kind of move on the call. As soon as I say pull, I'm moving the gun. Sometimes it gets me in trouble. So
A little momentum there.
a little momentum, yeah. But a lot of people spot shoot, so I just kind of like cheat in between.
It's in between a spot and a point.
Yeah, spot and a point.
Don't recommend.
If it works, it works, right? But that's a different style. I mean, just kind of going off the line with it. I've seen some people do it, but very similar to what me and Ricky are doing. You're not doing anything crazy. You're in line with all the stations. You're waiting for the target to come out. It comes out. You see it. You catch it with your eye, and you drive through it. Now, I've heard you say that you don't even see the gun or see the bead or see anything. Like, you're just looking at all target and poof ball. Is that correct? Or
Yeah, it's a blur.
It's a blur. So is that because of your vision, like prescription wise, or are you just looking that hard out at a target when you call pull?
Well, I completely went away from all prescriptions. I don't wear them now. I did last year and the year before. Don't anymore. So it's not a prescription thing. It's just that my gun fits. I know it fits. The beads are lining up, so why do I need to look down it?
Okay. And so what tells you that it's time to shoot the target? Like, is it a feel or is it a look?
It's a look. I know that my gun's going to be there if my eyes are on it. My gun's going to follow no matter what.
Which is true.
So once my eyes lock on and I know I'm on it and I feel like the gun's there, I pull the trigger.
Okay. Well, and that's similar to what I feel. I don't necessarily say I see the beads on the target. I'm just looking at the target, I feel it, and I make a shot. Now, I've pretty much always seen you shoot in your signature sandals. That being said, the Birkenstocks, right? So are you driving a lot from your legs when you're shooting, or are you more upper body, or where do you get your power when you're driving into a target?
It's more of my hips and through the ankles. In singles, I really don't drive that much, maybe on 1 and 5, but doubles is where it really
driving to the targets.
You're pushing. You're using your hips and you're kind of moving.
Well, you've seen me shoot doubles on 4 and 5. I stand completely weirdly. It's bad.
It's funny though, because when she goes, they go pull, and I'm like, oh Jesus, did the gun double? I thought it was like a blazer thing, and then it went 2 little puff balls, and I'm like, well, I guess that's what she wanted to do, but I'm like, I mean,
everybody's got their own shooting style. That's fine. So, one of the questions: what do you do if you have a bad day shooting?
Well,
do you revert back to like, hey, basics? Do you go and say, you know what, I'm just gonna not worry about it, move on to the next event? What?
Hello, Trap Talk listeners. Zach Nannini here, and I'd like to thank our show sponsor, Remington. And today, I would like to go into what shells I use when I'm training and when I'm shooting tournaments. First of all, we start with the gun club. This is a great shell. I shoot an 1145 ounce and 1/8, and this is what I shoot for singles and both shots of doubles. The only reason I don't shoot this in tournaments is because I like a little bit of a harder shot, a little bit of a harder break, but it works great, and it's the same speed as this STS shell. So this STS shell, a little bit harder shot, figure 8 wad column, smokes the targets a little bit harder. Also, I shoot for singles and doubles, both shots. And then when I go to the back fence and I want to put the smoke on them, I bring out the Nitro 27 ounce and 1/8, 7.5. It's a 1235 shell, blast the targets, it works really well. I hope these shells work for you, and I want to thank Remington for supporting Trap Talk.
You want the truth, or do you want what
What do you do?
I suggest to people?
The truth.
The truth.
We're only looking for the truth here, folks.
Well, depends on the shoot that I'm at. The Grand, if I shot bad, you won't see me the rest of the day. I'm usually in my trailer, sulking.
I know, I've stopped by and seen you.
Oh yeah, I get a little.
I stopped by.
Little dark cave, you just see 2 blue eyes like, what do you want? I didn't run the signal today. Get out of here.
Oh my goodness.
So what would you recommend then, other than the sulking, like the advice to other people? Optimally, what would you say is the best thing to do in that situation?
I've gotten better at it. What I suggest to people and taking my own advice on it, but I always allot myself 5 minutes of being sulky, being upset, pissed off,
5 minutes to whine.
Yeah, to whine.
We give Zach 2, but
I take the whole day. It's a full-time job for me.
So 5 minutes.
5 minutes, okay.
And then you got to get over it.
Yeah, I think that if you're hanging on to something that happened in the past, it carries to the future. I mean, if you go out there and Rick knows, if you go out there and you have a bad event and then you're like, man, I shot so bad, and then it's the next event and you're already thinking about the last event. You're still thinking about what you did, and then it's gone, right?
Yeah.
And I think people really need to spend some time in their own mind, and once you've done what you've done, you can't change it in any way, shape, or form.
No.
There's no going back. The only thing you can do is learn from it. I try to take a little bit of something from every time I miss and say, okay, I wasn't pressing with my legs, or I was moving on the call, or I was, and you take that and you build it in your game at some level so you're cognizant of what's happening. But to go back out there and say, well, man, I'm upset because I ruined the singles today, and then, you ruin the handicap.
When you start to dwell on the past, like I always say, not worried about the past, not worried about the future, worried about the now. And that's that trap, that post, that each target, one by one. So now, like today, I mean, we didn't have the best day. I don't think anybody here. I mean, I missed one of the singles. Shouldn't have. First target out of the last trap, then broke a 96 in the doubles.
I ain't never seen you shoot a 96 in doubles, and that. But
pair of 48s today. They
wasn't
40.
bad.
They were just moving around, and I just wasn't up to par. You know what? Tomorrow's another day. Doubles championship tomorrow.
I bet on you tomorrow.
We'll see what happens.
I'll bet on you tomorrow. Usually he doesn't follow up those 96s.
Yeah, we're going to try to break 100 tomorrow, folks. But so, what kind of advice would you give a new lady shooter, or just even a new shooter in general? Doesn't have to be just a lady, but what kind of advice would you give?
I'd say that trap shooters are a lot more kind, and if you just walk up to someone, they'll answer any question you want.
Yes.
And yes, some girls do have a resting bitch face. I, for one, have one. I don't bite. You can come up and talk to me.
Not sure about that, folks, but
she bites.
No.
She put herself in those shoes, but no, it's okay.
So, I mean, once you start talking to me, I have lots of people that have told me that I am friendly after you get rid of the RBF. So.
Yeah, I remember the first time I met her, I was walking it was the year they had the MTA Grand, and I was walking from here to there, and I'm like, I think that's that Shelby Skaggs girl that's winning everything, and I'm like, hey, nice to meet you, Zach Nini, and she's like,
I did.
And she was shooting single, and that was the day she broke her 200.
Hey, I remember.
And I'm like, I say hi to everybody. I'm like a Labrador. I come up, I smile, I shake your hand, and say, hey, how you doing? And then she's like, I'm shooting, and I'm like, all right. So I kept
I would
rolling.
not classify Zach as a Labrador. Think more like a beagle.
That was uncalled for. Uncalled for.
But I remember seeing Shelby. She was at the Heartland Grand, and I met her, and she's just standing there, and she shot good, And I said, how you doing? She's like, fine. Just like that. That's all it was. Fine. But I was like, okay.
What I got to notice is that she, over time, because we've shot together and stuff, it's more you trying to get into the zone and focus, because you're not like me and Rick. We go out there and we're like, yeah, what are we going to do later? Let's gamble, or let's, when's the podcast, or this, that, and we're just talking, and then we go out and it's on.
There's a line.
But you kind of like 20 minutes before or 30 minutes before, you're just like, okay, I'm here to think about trap.
RBF comes
in. Super
she
focused.
flips the RBF switch.
No.
But she's like, man, looking. But other people, I think that approachability comes in time. I mean, some people want to talk when they're shooting. Like, I don't mind it at all. People can, and some people, I know, higher performers, they do not want to talk.
They don't want to talk.
And
you don't want to be on our squad with Rich Bullard.
No, and like
it's rough, folks.
Like Dagan, fantastic shooter, great guy, really personable. But when he's shooting, he doesn't.
He'll still talk, not like we do on.
Yeah, not like us, but like he's not going up and and messing with you like me.
Well,
and you, it's just the whole. Some people can do that,
yeah,
and some people can't do that. I think you've definitely evolved over time. One thing that we did want to talk a little bit about was your long run at the Grand. You ran all the 500 singles and then the prelim, and then you
ran the 200 class,
and then
ran the first 100 in the clay target,
and then finally missed, right?
And you missed how many? 2,
3.
3.
Yep.
So you went the first, what is that, 800 straight or 900? 800 straight. 800 straight. So Ricky's done that before, I'm sure, but I've never done that. That being said, how did that feel competing at such a high level and going straight every single day? I mean, did it build pressure in your mind? And by the time that the last 100 singles was going out, what was in your head? I mean, what were you thinking?
The first 500 there was no pressure because that's what, like, one of my goals was. That's what I wanted.
To break the 5x5.
Yes.
That's a great, yep.
And then that following day was the 200, and I just went out there and shot a 25 the first round and felt good. And I was like, okay. And went on, shot 100 straight.
Yeah.
And then the pressure was on. For some reason,
you started thinking about it.
I started thinking about it, and I was like, oh, okay, I haven't missed yet. And then I
Wrong thing to say.
Yeah, I
haven't missed yet. Bang, loss. That's what happened. Oh,
no,
2 targets later.
No.
Okay.
We're on the first day, Monday.
Oh.
Yeah, because then
in the class.
You said in front of everyone.
I was told to, for our Team Fiocchi deal, that Shelby Skaggs is
Hasn't
700
missed.
straight.
700 straight.
I was told to say that.
That wouldn't make anyone
And then
nervous.
I had about 50 people come up to me and say, oh, well, congratulations. Do you think you're going to miss?
All right, listeners.
And you know what you say?
No. I ain't missing.
I said, well, I'm not going to try to.
No, see, that's where you say no.
I ain't missing.
Firmly, no.
No missing.
With
here.
the RBF.
No. I'm going to dinner.
Yeah. Well, and that's, yeah, I understand what you're saying, but you ran the first 100, so there was no pressure then. You put the pressure on yourself.
I would
correctly?
say there was still pressure in that first 100. I was shaking.
Were you shaking?
Oh, yeah.
So, but you got through it,
Yes,
right? So
I
how did you
did.
get through that?
By not breathing.
Hold your breath and shoot. New technique.
Folks, let's not try this technique.
Please
Okay?
don't.
We're
We're not
gonna be
condoning this.
troublesome. I don't recommend it. Do not try this at home. That's our liability. Do not try this at home.
When you turn purple, couple. She looked like an Oompa Loompa when she was done with the 100.
Hey, that's horrible, Zach.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, but and I understand what you're saying because that same Grand, I missed number 7, and then ran him out, and I was like, man, and I'm like, you might have just hit number 7, you know, and I was actually thinking about that in the class singles, and I'm like, that was 600 targets ago. What are you doing?
Yeah.
And then, you know, I run the clay target, and then went on, and I missed my 199th in the championship at the Cardinal Classic.
Ooh.
Yeah, in my long run, I was like, and Justin broke his first 200. And
I
we got
remember that.
done, and he's like, nice job. And I go, no, I missed one. What do you mean you missed one? I said, I missed my 199th. He goes, man, if I'd have known that, I'd have missed. And I'm like, what? And he goes, so it was kind of funny. But yeah, I understand what you're saying. It is a difficult, you can't let that pressure come in.
It is.
When it comes in, you just try to get rid of it.
So here's a learning moment for our listeners. If someone is 700 straight, I don't think the question asked them is, are you going to miss, or do you think you're going to miss? I think, you know, be supportive, but, you know, if somebody's doing, and I learned this from Bartholo, because I asked him, like, oh, you haven't missed yet, or whatever, and then he went out and missed that night.
Yeah.
And I was joking.
But I
a little
didn't
bit.
ask you if you were going to miss. I just
No, this
said,
was-
hey,
this was the
we'd like
50
to
other people.
congratulate Shelby Skaggs on being 700 straight. So it wasn't my fault.
Yeah, it's never his fault.
Yeah.
But
So here's mine.
now you know.
He's still
Yes.
smirking.
So if you could go back and change your thoughts, or if you were in that position again, 700-800 straight, going to that last 100 of the clay target, what do you think you would do differently now that you've been through that experience?
I would tell myself what I tell myself now is that to take it one target at a time, because it's not the full 100. It's
Exactly.
that next target.
Yep.
It's not 25. It's the next
Next
target.
target. and you were in the 25 mode or the 100 mode.
I was in the 200
mode.
Yep.
Yeah, no, and hey, I've been there. Where 2 weeks ago at Vegas, I run the first 100 in the class singles. I give away a nice $200 one. I'm like, oh yeah, I'm gonna win this $200 one. I go on the second 100 and it's blowing. They're sporting. And I'm like, man, I'm gonna win. And I'm like, well, wait a second.
What are you thinking about?
We ain't thinking about 200. We're thinking about this target. And then it started. Then you still have the pressure,
That was
but it kind of
shameless plug, by the
eases
way.
off.
Shameless plug for Nevada. And I got the hat on.
Yeah, another shameless plug.
We're plugging hard.
But yeah, no, we understand that, or at least I understand that.
It is different. I mean, it's just the mindset going into the event has to be on the target, not on the future, not on the past. And
right.
and I've had I had that run at the Grand that I was about to do that 500 and I didn't. I had the 499, and I know when I went out to that last box, I'm like, okay, break this 25, 500 straight instead of going. I was at the
just
week.
break this.
I was
25.
breaking. Yes, I was going the whole week. I was working fives, and singles I like to work fives. I mean, you're shooting one at a time, but I think, okay, I'm going to take this 5 and I'm going to focus on it, and then when I get off, take a little break, the next 5. When I went out to that box, I'm like, okay, I got to break this 25, and I wasn't focused. I missed the second target out because I wasn't focused on what I needed to do on post 2.
You were worried.
And when that left came out, I'm like, and it took
I know,
me out.
I was there.
I remember it. It's funny how when you don't miss as many targets, you remember exactly what the targets look like when you miss them. Like, you're like, oh, I remember that bird flying this way. I'm like, it deflates you. But, well, Shelby, this has been great. You obviously got a great future ahead of you in the sport, and you're doing a great job with your team. Is there anything else that you would like to say to the listeners, or are there any other advice or tidbits that you'd like to leave us with before we get out of here?
No, I don't think so.
Anybody you want to thank?
Yeah, thanking time's good. Yeah.
Okay, well, he just said...
I'll take care of this.
That was question
folks,
one.
Folks,
Oh,
Zach,
my goodness.
it's been a long day for Zach. He's struggling. He's getting beat up in the it's just been a bad day for him. But Shelby,
Plug the sponsors.
Plug time.
Anybody you'd like to thank?
Fiocchi and Blazer. And I guess my sister sometimes.
What about your mom and dad?
Oh, no. I'm just kidding.
There was that RBF. Rhonda, when you watch this, you're going to look at that face.
So Blazer, Fiocchi.
My mom and dad and my sister.
Did you have any other sponsors? I figured you had a laundry list by now. But the Wenig stock's not hurting anything, just not sponsored yet.
Not sponsored yet.
Okay.
Wink, wink.
Wink, wink, wink. Well, Rick, is there any other questions that we're missing today? Is there anything we didn't go into because?
No, I think it was good. I think we could. I think we need to do a podcast with Shelby and Shay.
I'd like that.
I
think that'd be fun.
They can kind of
Bicker.
RBF at each other and
Yeah. It'll be like me and you all over again.
Exactly.
That's what we do.
It'll be a fun podcast though. So, but no, I think it's been a great time. Hopefully tomorrow on we start the all around tomorrow. We need to hammer down and start smoking some targets.
I like
Poof
hammering
balls.
down. Yeah, little poop balls.
I don't like poop balls.
We'll take that.
I like smoke balls.
That's the Shelby Skaggs quote of the day is the little poof balls.
The poop balls.
I like that. Well, we got to thank our show's sponsors, Remington, Wenig, Shot Tracker. They're doing a great job. A lot of people are liking them, so we appreciate the love there. RM Shooting Clinics, the man, Ricky Marshall Jr. He's been doing a great job. We've been watching him. It's been fun just seeing him out there working with people and seeing their scores go up. So we appreciate you guys giving him calls. And if you guys need a financial guy, I'm here to help you any way I can. So thanks for listening, and we'll tune in next Friday.